Awesome. Cool. So I think we're ready. We're just about 5 minutes past the time to start our 18th community call. We're about 35 people right now on the call or so. Thank you everybody for taking the time to join BabelFish's community call. So a few updates, important updates. I think the most important update, something that we should talk about, and also remember, if you have any questions, you can either unmute yourself at the proper time or ask the question on CC questions chat if you prefer that way. The first thing that we should address is most of the collateral right now for XUSD, it's Tether that has been breached to rootstock, so our USDT. And that's really interesting. So we had reached sort of like a ceiling of like 20 million, then we reached 22 million. And then it seems like few large users withdrew to Ethereum, and right now there's very little liquidity and collateral from other chains, making most of XUSD just basically our USDT. It's about 96% of XUSD right now. It's Tether, which is definitely not what BabelFish set out to do. We are not a Tether wrapper. We definitely want to create a hedged basket of stablecoins to reduce risk, and to facilitate stablecoin flow across chains and swapping among different stables on different chains. So that is something that we're definitely looking into. We're learning from, and so we're definitely aware of that. We just want to share that with you. So what we're going to be doing, as was mentioned a few community calls ago, 2 community calls ago, we've been testing that governance was ready. There's 2 things that we're gonna vote for first. They're not yet sort of like being discussed on the forum so much, but these are really important things that we need to do. We will start a conversation on the forum, and we really hope to be, we should be making this vote this week, just so that we can have it deployed by the next community call in 2 weeks. So what this first vote will be, it will be just a yes or no vote on setting 3 pools, which are basically like stablecoin pools, that will enable swapping of XUSD against any of the accepted stablecoins that we have. And we want to create these 3 pools permissionlessly, both on Curve and on SushiSwap. We believe that this is something that we should start doing right now to facilitate the swapping and to start also earning some revenue to the protocol that will be benefiting not only to start accumulating some RBTC, but also to begin distributing a percentage of these fees also to Fish token holders proportionately. We really like this idea. It's pretty simple, something relatively simple to do. We do not need to provide liquidity to those AMM 3 pools immediately, but we really like that Curve and SushiSwap, they're available in multiple chains, and so we can just go wherever they are and sort of replicate the same idea there. Once we do that, there's 2 more things that we're going to have to vote on that make sense based on the recent developments with Tether. One is to have a vote allowing sort of like access to the Tether that we have in the collateral of XUSD, to move it through the bridge from RSK over to Ethereum, and then convert a percent of it, potentially, that will be discussed on the forum before the vote, where we will have to decide, okay, well, yes, let's move it to diversify the basket, and let's put this percentage on USDC and swap this percentage for DAI, and that percentage for another stablecoin. So we really think that's just a fast way to solve that on the short term. And then immediately after that, the third vote, that again, this is not being discussed, but it's based on recent developments. We believe it's really important. Will be to also add the balancing curves. So at first, we were fortunate to start with a very diversified basket, but as we've seen from the events of last week, this basket is not really hedged at the moment. So we really need to implement the parameters that will enable a maximum percentage of each stablecoin. So theoretically, once there is more than an allowed percent of a specific stablecoin, then continuing to deposit on that stablecoin should not give you a one-to-one value. It should create incentives to deposit other stablecoins, right? So those are the sort of like three things that we need to vote in the near term. So again, the first thing that we want to do is to add the 3-pool stable AMMs on Curve and Sushi Swap. Then potentially number 2, it's to move manually the tether that we have, creating like 96% of breach tether on rootstock, moving it over to different chains, Ethereum, Binance, potentially another chain, but let's stay with Ethereum, and then swapping it for other stablecoins just to provide some hedge to our collateral, as well as options to our users. And then the third one would be voting on the parameters to incentivize or disincentivize deposits of the stablecoin basket, so that we can actually start hedging it. So this is the thing that I wanted to get out of the way and to share with you guys. And if you have some questions, I'm sure you do, there will be time for them soon after the updates. Next up, we should have had for today ready like our interface for deposits and withdrawals, so we don't have to go directly to Sovereign's Bridge. We are waiting to hear from the team that has been working on this for a long time. As you know, this has been delayed, and we hope to share this update with you shortly, also this week, by the time that we update you on the upcoming vote that I just mentioned, and we will be posting that on the forum. We've also had a team that's creating something called R-Login. They are a team from Rootstock that will basically, they're just doing this sort of like to promote their project, their solution, which is called R-Login. What it does is that it enables many more options for people to connect to BabelFish, even with their hardware wallet. So we think this is just going to be very good right now in the interfaces that we designed for both governance or for deposits and withdrawals. We're limited to about like MetaMask, liquidity, and then like two more wallets. So this will increase the options to like 10 more options, including hardware wallets, which is great. Next up, as you know, we've been looking for developers for a long time. We were also giving a bounty for a successful referral. I do not want to jinx this, but I believe that we will be having badass A team of like 2 front ends and 3 back end developers joining us in December. And so I don't want to jinx it, but this is quite likely to happen, and you will be seeing announcements regarding this when it happens, so that we can actually take BabelFish to where it's supposed to be. Right now, we're still in alpha. I would say we're just an aggregator. We haven't implemented, any of the parameters to hedge the basket or to lend some of the collateral. All of that needs to happen, as well as benefits for fish token holders. So all of that is coming, and the only way to get there really is with like an A team that can really be dedicated and focused on this project. And as you know, like that's something that we've been sort of like addressing on every community call. And this is no one's fault, but I would believe it's my fault in not finding that team fully yet. But looks like we finally have a great team on the way. So that's really exciting, and I hope to confirm that to you all soon. And then I guess, something that I always want to address, this community, it's a great community that we have. And I keep on hearing this from different members that are either filling out the experimenters form every day, or just, they just, random conversations from people. People are beginning to hear about BabelFish. They understand where we want to go. And we are very thankful for the community that we have, because, most of us are being patient. We understand that, in crypto, when you invest in a project, you need to be patient with the projects. You need to give them at least 1 year. And we are being very mindful, of the funds raised. For example, we don't like to talk about token price, but we're being very careful um, um, from the funds raised. So, for example, bounties, the last bounty payment, it was paid in RBTC. Just, we think that it makes more sense to make the payments in RBTC for the bounties, or some sort of mix, depending on on each case. And then we're also being very careful as well. The amount of fish tokens available, because we're paying bounties mostly with RBTC, and because we're still in alpha and we're not scaling big time. Most of the fish that has already vested into different buckets, like the development pool or the ecosystem pool, things like that. Most of it's still on the treasury. So, they're available and they can be used, but we're being very careful with it, just being mindful of, what's about to come with the fish token, and, potential, all of the things that will start coming in 2022. So that's also important for you, for me to share with you guys. And yeah, like, what's beautiful about, slowly moving in this process for the past 5 months and learning, in this alpha stage, is that we're also seeing a lot of developments happen in the ecosystem, in DeFi in general. We're seeing a lot of Olympus forks. So you've probably seen, of course, the meme all around. And there's a lot of cool solutions happening there. So that's also something that we're evaluating with the team that I mentioned earlier, just to provide, additional use cases for fish. So this is, again, early stage, but, sharing here in the community where our thoughts are. And yeah, I know that also, since the last community call, Mint had the event, and then there will be coming, like, the zero interest Bitcoin backed USD stablecoin. That is also something, many people were asking, how does that fit with BabelFish? And and it's every time we see, like, a new stablecoin, every USD stablecoin at this stage, potentially later on, but at this stage, every USD stablecoin for BabelFish, it's not a competitor. We do not see BabelFish is a meta stablecoin that's made up of by all of its underlying stablecoins. So we welcome all USD stablecoins, and we will seek to aggregate all of them. Again, these are parameters that we will get better at voting on. We haven't had the first vote on yet, but yes, we're looking forward to that project. We don't see it as competitor. And again, the whole benefit of BabelFish is to provide protocols with a simpler interface, and users with deeper liquidity, and also the possibility to move across chains. So if you have zero USD, but then you want to you can only get it into cash through USDC, then you can quickly do that, right? So so I think those are the main updates. It's a lot to go over. But yeah, and those are the main things that I wanted to share with you guys. Of course, there's also other things happening. You may have seen more activity on our social media. We have a member of the community who's been doing a wonderful job there, and that's what we love to see. Just people taking initiative and permissionlessly taking over different brand initiatives. We also have some designers that are updating the website. Many people didn't like our very lean Notion landing page that we've had since our launch about 6 months ago, and likely after that new website is up sometime in the next week or two, they will also be helping us, with the design of the dApps. So that's also a good relationship going on there. And that's it. Kind of like, those have been like 15 minutes of many different updates from different places. What I'm most excited about, honestly, is to have the first vote so that we can have 3 pools on Curve and SushiSwap. I think that's going to also increase awareness, and that's where a lot of users are. And then I don't want to jinx it, but potentially increasing our tech team basically by a lot, and really delivering on all of the milestones that we have to get to, right? So namely, enabling swaps, lending collateral, and providing value to fish stakers, right? So all of that is coming, and it's going to start moving faster in 2022, since this is basically the beginning of the year. But we should be finishing the year with stable swaps, stable pools on Curve and SushiSwap, as well as a revamped sort of like a landing page, and a tech team that's going to take us, to the next level, 2022. So with that, going to open it up to questions. I see Kuro Kit W, which by the way, thank you also for bringing up the USDT issue on the general chat. Is it not possible to enable our USDT withdrawal directly? We can deposit Tether into XUSD but not withdraw. This would fix it easily. We can enable that. That's something, as I mentioned, it's being looked at, the different options. That is one way. The other way is to, for us just to do it manually. At first, we just wanted to basically, incentivize mostly the deposits and not so much withdrawals, but that is a simple solution. Another thing that we are looking into, it's to, and again, this will probably have to be a vote. Potentially, it could be like the 4th vote. Just again, we are rearranging the whole order of things, but we want to potentially vote on fees for withdrawals. So that could be another way of doing it. This is kind of like related to the parameters of the Curve to incentivize or disincentivize certain deposits. We can add fees for withdrawals or add fees for certain deposits and withdrawals. But I like that proposal, Rocky. I think it makes even more sense. Like it could be the two of them. If we enable our USDT withdrawals, I'm just not so sure how that would solve it, because then if you have Tether and then you withdraw it, you have XUSD and then you withdraw Tether over to RSK, it's not really solving the issue. So maybe I'm misunderstanding the solution. But we will consider it. Yeah, exactly. So what you're saying is, to withdraw our USDT to USDT. Yeah. So instead of us doing it manually, just giving that option. Yeah. So we'll look into it. Thank you for the feedback earlier, and also for the feedback on this potential solution. Making a note of it. Cool. Any questions, ideas, feedback? Please feel free to unmute yourself and share with us. And I hope to be giving. I hope that BabelFish can be sharing an update soon regarding on how we're going to be addressing the issue with the large percentage of USDT and how to diversify that. When can we expect governance to be out for use? Asks KBT. So we've been asking the community to stake since I think 2 community calls ago. So for the past month or so, we just wanted to see that that users could do it. It's still a bit buggy, but it's also buggy on other systems using Bitocracy. And like I mentioned in the previous community call, that is a problem that we have with sort of like a growing, like Rootstock is like a growing new blockchain, and so many of the DAO solutions that exist, like on Ethereum, are yet to be developed here. They will be coming, but for now we're sort of like we believe that Bitocracy is the best option, but it works. It definitely works, and it also has the quadratic equation, which is great because it gives you more voting weight based on the time that it's locked. So so you can stake already, and we expect to have the first vote this week, which will be just a yes or no vote to create 3 pools on Corp and SushiSwap. And then the second vote, we're looking at feedback, for example, the feedback that Kuroki just shared with Tether. So it could be either a vote. The first vote will be this week, and then we will see based on developments what the second, third, fourth vote will be. We have a lot of things being discussed on the forum. So staking for voting on the governance will start this week, and staking rewards we hope to share with the community also shortly, but you do need to stake to vote. Randoc. If RUSD withdrawal is enabled, users can balance it manually. I have actually paid for gas fees to balance a reach, but cannot if RUSD is enabled. Thank you, Randoc. Message received. I definitely made a note of this, and I will relay the message, and I hope to update you guys shortly on what the solution will be. But I think that makes total sense, and it's something that that can be done relatively quickly. We definitely want to also, the thing is, we also want to rebalance it, right? So it would be interesting if there is a vote and the community chooses, to like to allow us to rebalance it. But there are also some concerns about, giving access to, to anonymous developers to manually move collateral and hedge it. It doesn't look right. So perhaps this is the best way to just enable that exit and let users organically sort of like begin to balance it, and then we can have a vote to incentivize or disincentivize certain deposits with fees. It may take some time, but I think it probably is the right way to go rather than having developers manually moving users' funds. I don't think that's the way to go. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Randoc, and thank you, Kuroki. Would love to also continue these conversations with you separately. Very insightful. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we could just bring the discussion about balancing to the forum, and sorry for my kid, and then decide on the way we would like to move with it. And I think that we could like do something like locking the withdrawals for specific stablecoins if they are out of balance or over or they reach a specific threshold, and do it like manually by the users by incentivizing them for doing it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Thank you, Hype.
I think this way would be like more organic, and it would be like more influence of the community on the actual polls.
Awesome. Cool, guys. I believe I don't see any more questions. Again, we love to hear your thoughts. We try to share here as much of what our thoughts are between the in the dolphin schools, share it with you, and so ideally, hear back from you or get great questions. This is the time, or even feedback. If not, we also take it as a sign of sort of like agreement that these are things that you concur with, and this is so we will continue in this direction. And so if there are no more burning questions or feedback that you guys have to share, we can adjourn the recording, and we will stay in the call another 5 minutes, just in case a question pops in your head in the coming minutes. Yeah, so thank you again for your patience, and a lot of cool things coming. We're learning a lot. We're still in alpha. What's cool is that we're still the largest stablecoin in rootstock. What's not so cool is that we basically are at the moment like a Tether wrapper, and the challenges ahead are exactly the challenges that BabelFish set out to solve. So things are about to get interesting. So strap on for what really promises to be a very cool ride for 2022. We couldn't be at a better place and time, trying to hedge stable coins and also to insure them with our BTC by lending a percentage of it. I think it's really a solution whose time has come, and now we need to prove it by solving also the situation that we have on our hands. So definitely good problems to have.
I might chime in real quick, Dark Knight, if that's all right. I'm on mobile today, so I hope you guys can hear me okay. It's Novax here.
Hi, Novax.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I just wanted to say, on Babelverse updates and stuff, we got some cool things happening. BabelFish World, which is sort of a Mario-inspired scroller platformer, has been developed out with many, many levels. And that's up in the browser now. So anyone who's a part of Story School or wanting to get involved, we're beta testing, bug testing that together. So it is password protected right now, and just kind of for our developer community. But I just want to give a heads up to anyone who maybe didn't get that message, that babelverse.io, and then get in on Story School. And I don't think anyone's beaten the first boss from the Vogon ship world yet, because he's basically impossible. But just a quick update on that if anyone in the community wants to come and play with us.
Thank you. That's awesome. I'll definitely check it out. I was seeing some chat in there. Is there like a public link that you can share with us?
Right now, we're keeping it to just our crew while we're bug testing it and stuff. But soon, I think there will be, very soon probably. But at this moment, the only thing that's in the browser is that Mario platformer. So the next step will be bringing the Babelverse, 3D world into the browser, and then we'll beta test and bug test that out, and then subsequently, I think that's when we'll have our launch. So we're sort of anticipating to do an NFT sale and some things a little bit earlier, but as we've been waiting for the governance and building out some things on our end and sorting through some challenges as well, we're quite excited about the new year as well. We're sort of looking forward to after kind of the post NFT, bubble hype that's been going on. I think it'll position us nicely as a kind of sister project in the NFT gaming space to be able to come in with some solid footing underneath us, with having built out in quite a long direction, so that we're not sitting there trying to substantiate the price of NFTs based on not much underneath the hood. So we'll have quite a big engine by the time we're ready to start distributing our stuff and inviting users in to experience this space. So we're all kind of excited about the way that's good, that's happening. And then we've the Sovereign video. Maybe some of you guys remember that original Sovereign episode 0.1 video, the Fiat Lords, and it was so powerful and well made and just beautiful, and great collaboration happening there. And I think maybe Dark Knight was even a part of that in some way, or a party to it. And so I was like, what can we do in this same style? So I started messing around with animating some of our assets from the artists, just like mouths and eyes and things. And I think we're kind of going in a cool direction there. So I'm inviting everyone to help us brainstorm my storyboard for something similar. Not so much of an explainer video where we sort of get really in detail about what the protocol is and what we're doing, but more of kind of like the ethos, right? The values and the general sentiment of the value proposition of our mission and what we're seeking to do. And I think that Sovereign really knocked it out of the park with their with that video. So I want to do it something kind of in a similar spirit of that, but with our own artistic stylings.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Novax. Yeah, we really think that the partnership that we're gonna have between Babelverse and BabelFish, it's just perfect, and there's going to be a lot of cool things happening. Q1. Following with another question from KBT. So are we safe to stake our fish? Like the page is now live and not in beta. Well, I think all of DeFi at this point, even if you're a Compound, as we saw recently, and Compound has been around. I think Compound was the first DeFi protocol. They're still in alpha, and things can go wrong in governance, and so I think all of DeFi is in alpha, not even in beta. Just to clarify that, and so yeah, we're still very early in this space. So clearly, BabelFish is still in alpha. The governance is still in alpha, and it will be in alpha for the foreseeable future. I would stake for governance, stake just a small amount. I think the minimum is like 42 fish. So stake whatever you feel comfortable with, just to be able to participate in the votes. And then more utility will be coming for the fish token. So that would be my advice, not only on BabelFish, but in general across projects.
It's Hyde again, and I think something to add, that staking rewards, that's also something we'll have to vote on.
That's right. At the moment, if we create rewards, for example, from fees, or from either fees for deposits and withdrawals, or fees that are earned from stable swaps on other chains, which is the immediate things that we can see coming before lending. At the moment, the only place where you would be rewarded is if you're staking on governance. And yes, of course, all of the parameters, percentages that would be distributed to fish holders will need to be voted on.
Novax here again. Just wanted to also quickly mention that I think it's come to my attention more so in the past week or two than ever before, just how critically important the participation in the governance, or in the forum rather, is. So forum.babelfish.money, where Hyde has set up some incredible organization and branding on the forum, and the conversation is really starting there in many directions. And so by the time something would come to a vote on our governance, have been discussed fairly thoroughly, and many of the considerations already factored into whatever the draft of the BabelFish improvement proposal would be. So really want to just encourage and remind everyone that really probably the least effective way really to influence governance might be by actually voting on that one day. If the vote's open for a day and you don't get there in time. But the way that you can be sure to have influence in the direction is, I think, making really, really relevant comments on the forum, wise comments that are insightful and consider all the various complexities. And then also vote. Please vote. Do vote. I'm not discouraging anyone from voting at all. But I just want to really emphasize just how important, I think almost more important than a vote, is just that thoughtful comment in the forum, and getting on there proactively beforehand so that you can be a part of shaping what that vote will be about.
And there will always be, emergencies, right? So we will share like this, we were thinking about the first votes being something different. And we're likely going to have, the first vote be, this balancing course, and that has not been shared on the forum yet. There's not a lot to discuss there, but yes, in general, I think that is the way to go, and that is where you can really shine through even more than on Discord, because it's long form and definitely more thought out. So yeah, I would second that, Novax. Okay, I don't see any additional questions. So yeah, I don't think the call is being recorded now. So let's give it 5 more minutes for anybody. Oh, I see Greta is still recording. Let's give 5 more minutes. If not, we can adjourn the call so that we can all continue with our days, our weeks, and yeah, get to building.